Yeah, I mean, I think there's just plenty of evidence now, even break down to brain studies, looking at how the brain reacts to sugar, and that it acts in the same part of the brain, lights up the same part of the brain in the same way as drugs of addiction and alcohol and nicotine and all of those things that we get hooked to. Um, I mean, it kind of makes sense from an evolutionary point of view that our brains would light up when we find something sweet and palatable, because we that was a survival mechanism, and we needed that mechanism, that we remembered where the berries were, from last year, because our brains had lit up so much. There was no way we were going to forget. um it's just a natural survival mechanism, kind of gone wrong in our crazy modern environment that you've just described so well. Like, there's sugar everywhere. We don't have to go hunting for the blueberry bush or whatever was around back in the day, because we just phone up Deliveroo or whatever it is you guys have in the States, and there's a pizza on the doorstep. We don't even have to get in our cars and go to the supermarket. Food's so ubiquitous, and like you say, it's kind of everywhere. Um, so for some people, that that process really gets heated up, and they really lose control of their relationship with those kinds of foods, the sweet, the grains, the refined grains, the hyper palatable ultra processed foods. And I would say it's a little bit like alcohol, because alcohol's pretty ubiquitous in our culture for adults, uh, but not everybody loses control of their relationship with it, um, in the same way that processed foods are ubiquitous, and not everybody loses their relationship, their control over their relationship with those foods. It's probably, when you look at the studies, it's somewhere between 10 and 20% of the adult population. But that's 4.5 million people in the UK alone. I mean, goodness knows what it is in the in the States. So yes, we have to eat, but we don't have to eat drug foods in inverted commas. So we don't have to eat sugar. We don't have to eat grains, really, or refined grains. We've refined them down to a white powder, haven't we? It's a bit like, the cocoa leaves have become cocaine. It's a bit like, grains have become this white powder, or this, and sugar. Um, Nobody's gonna. I tried chewing on a bit of sugar cane when I was in Florida recently. It's not sweet at all. Nobody's gonna be doing that all day. Whereas you refine it down into sugar, that's when it becomes sort of drug like, if you like. And that's the same, isn't it? With, again, trying to think of another example. Yeah, cocoa leaves. Yeah, you don't get to chew in the cocoa leaf, but when it's refined down into cocaine, for example, you do. So yeah, so we do have to eat food, but we don't have to eat drug foods. The problem is, in our modern environment, it's quite difficult for those of us who are trying to eat real natural foods in the way nature intended. It's quite hard to get our hands on them. And as I say, when we were in the States recently, it's even harder for you guys over there, I would say. In the restaurants, everything has sugar added to it. In the supermarket, like even coleslaw or stuff like that, we'd eat over here, everything's got sugar added to it. So it's really, really everywhere, isn't it? So yeah, so that's what I'd say. Really, it's not that people are addicted to real natural foods, but they're addicted to the modern, man-made kind of pseudo foods. We don't need. I used to love. Obviously, I had a love affair with those things and had lots of problems with them. Things like ice cream are not things that ice cream and these kinds of foods, donuts, pizzas, really they're entertainment, not nourishment.